Hey guys, Man 945 here. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I am going to be talking about my experience playing my very first visual novel. And I'm like only halfway done with this game, but it was so fucking deep that I had to make a video. I finished it like 20, 30 minutes ago now. Um, so for those who don't know, the visual novel is called The House in Fata Morgana. And I do want to make this clear beforehand. I obviously, generally on this channel tend to talk about spoilers. In a lot of things, but this is one of those special cases where I'm seriously giving a major warning. If you have not played the house in Fata Morgana and you have any intention to do so at all, then stop this video right now because what I'm going to be talking about literally spoils the main twist for the entire game. So please, again, I say with probably the most emphasis that I've ever said something like this on this channel. If you have any intention at all of ever playing the house in Fata Morgana in your life, or you have a neuralizer like from Men in Black, or unless you have that, then click off this video right now. Because if you know the main plot twist in this game, it kind of ruins the experience as I've just found out because I accidentally spoiled it for someone who stumbled across my conversation in Discord with another guy who I'd been talking to about who has played the game. So, I don't want that to happen to any more people. So, if you have any intention of playing the house in Fata Morgana at any point in your life, then please click off the video now. With that said, I am going to get into the discussion now. Now, um, if for some reason you still didn't click off the video, then you can stay around for a tiny bit longer because the first thing I'm going to discuss is the sort of presentation of the game and everything not related to story and characters right now. Um, so this game has, even though it is a visual novel, and I have played games that have vast, expansive open worlds. This game has some of the best atmosphere and tension building I have ever played in any video game. And to be honest, I'm going to extend this to experienced in a piece of media ever because man, every single second I was playing this game, I was just locked in. And that's a very funny, like, brain rot Gen Z, Gen Alpha term. What I'm referring to when I say that in this context is that I have, like, I can think of very few things where I have been more like just emotionally attentive to what is going on or just tense from a scene that of normal dialogue that's happening. And that is just how incredible the atmosphere of this game is. From the scenes where you're talking with the maid, which just feel absolutely terrifying at every single point, to seeing the to like just seeing the very different like emotional atmospheres of all of the four doors. Um, it's just incredible. And this is aided so well by the music, just literally perfectly fitting every single scene interaction. Literally every single scene of dialogue is just perfectly like the music fits perfectly in all of those situations. Um, and even like when you're on a particularly long um series of dialogue, like somehow having the music repeat several times in one particular scene, uh even with the gaps of silence, somehow does not break the immersion in the slightest. Instead, it has the opposite effect where I would immediately become on edge as soon as the music stops. And then, and this is on top of the emotional attentiveness I would already have to any particular scene across any of the doors. So, um, the music is truly, I think the crowning aspect of this game, even above the story and the characters, because of the way that the music works in aiding those tools to work even more effectively. And of course, this is a visual novel, which means that it is presented entirely through a visual medium. And as such, a game like this would have to have incredible artwork, and that is most certainly what this game has, because it's incredible how it manages to portray the different parts of the mansion like different in different art styles which seem to reflect the different tones of the different time periods that the story of the game is set in. And it's truly a crowning achievement. And this combined with the music, just again, perfectly fitting every single scene of dialogue, is just incredible. Um, okay, now, if you are for some reason a serious dumbass and are still sticking around in the video and you have any intention of playing the game at any point, this is officially like this is what the hell do they call it with the is it the Horizon's Edge? Hold on, I need to look this up real quick. What is the edge of a black hole called? It's the Event Horizon. That's what it's called. Okay. So, as of now, 10 minutes into the video, this is officially the Event Horizon for this video. So, click off now if you have any intention of experiencing the story of a house in Fata Morgana ever. Okay, now I'm actually going to get into talking about the story because this is the real juicy part of the game. So already, I think the setting is really cool because you're like you're you wake up in this creepy ass house where you are told that you are the master of the mansion and you are awoken sitting next to a maid character that does not look human, looks like some form of ghost, and it's somehow eerily you're I was eerily able to tell that a little bit in the design because something, and this is the brilliancy of the character designs in this game, like something about the eeriness of the detail of her design immediately was made me suspicious of this character, and I had good reason to, as I will get to in a little bit, but I'm going to kind of take this by going through the story of door by door. So, the whole idea of this game is that you play as the master of the mansion who has to recover his or their memories. It's not specified. I thought it was a he for a long time. I was wrong about that. Um, but you have to recover your memories, and in doing so, you go through various doors to view the history of the mansion. And this is such a cool premise to me. I was already immediately hooked with the setting of this game. Um, and uh door one absolutely blew my fucking mind because it's very clearly a form of the story of Romeo and Juliet, where but like a much more first version where it is set in the 1600s. Door one is, and it's about this like rich noble family that lives in the mansion. They host parties a lot, and the brother and sister seem a bit too close. Um, the brother doesn't really think much of it, but I was immediately sus. I immediately thought there was some kind of like incestual love there from the sister, and I was exactly right about that. Um, the brother eventually falls in love with a character that is not named, that is only named the white-haired girl. Um, and uh, and their romance was amazing, super captivating, and then like uh, the insane plot twist that the white-haired girl in this door is the half sister, like the bastard child, the half sister of this older brother character who I'm blanking on the names of. I really wish I remembered the names right now, but um I I did not see that coming. And then the even bigger plot twist where there's that scene where it looks like the white-haired girl is entering the room, and then it reveals that like essentially seeing the brother in his sleep and like making out with him and crazy shit um is actually the sister, but the reason it was the white-haired girl is because she cut off the hair of the white-haired girl. They kill her, left her alive still, cut off her hair, and wore her hair as a wig. And I was, let me tell you, for a first impression into this game, I cannot express how fucking floored I was. Like, it was just incomprehensible to me. And I tell you, what a fucking incredible start to the game. Now, I'm gonna be honest, Door 2 is good, but it's not nearly as good as Door 1. So Door 2 follows many years later, like I think it's like over 100 years later or something, or like almost a century later. Um, the mansion's been abandoned the entire time until eventually the main character, who is sort of like the narrator in the game, because for some mysterious reason, she's been through that entire time period and has been there for even longer. She won't tell you for how long, for like hundreds of years and yes. Um, um, I, and and then just I lost my train of thought. So yeah, so like from the point of view of the main character going into door two, he encounters this beast, or Boothia as it's called, this mysterious beast character who has like this super creepy mysterious design, that you can't really tell what it is, and it makes this weird creepy ass sound when it's talking, and um it's just kind of insane looking. And this is definitely the door which I was by far the most fucking tense and on edge, because I felt like there were things that would jump scare me any fucking second. And I did get jump scared in this game. Oh my god, I will talk about that, but that's not for a while. Um, and oh my goodness, um, so the whole idea of this particular door is that um this beast, he eventually learns human manners, and he gets a absolute rise out of killing people, and or well, he tries to become human, and then he invites this salesman who is looking for food into his house. And then you introduce, and then like he ends up killing him because the salesman brings up the story of the beast, which the beast does not want to hear about, and it makes him irrationally angry. Then he goes on this crazy killing streak, and then he meets um the white-haired girl in this story, who is supposed to be the beauty, because this is very obviously just a better told version, in my opinion, of Beauty and the Beast, like a tragedy version, if you will, but with a crazier plot twist, and like I said, better told. Um, so they sort of slowly start to bond, and then there's this crazy thing where there's like a second beat that appears, but it doesn't say anything. And then it switches perspective back to the dead salesman's lover named Pauline, and her adventures to look for her lover, the dead salesman. And this all culminates in the plot twist, which I mainly didn't really see coming, that the salesman was actually the beast all along, and the salesman getting killed was just this sort of hallucination, crazy illusion type thing. And the second beast was actually Pauline entering the mansion, finding him again, but then being killed. And it's a very tragic thing. It ends with all the characters dying and blah blah blah. And the reason I didn't really like this door as much is purely because I was on edge the entire time. And as a result, I feel like it sort of contributed to me having less enjoyment of it because I was just so tense and on edge the entire time that I feel like, ironically enough to what I described in the beginning of this video, I wasn't really able to emotionally connect as easily, which kind of hurt my enjoyment of it. Also, I didn't think the twist was nearly as good as Door One, even though it was still a pretty good twist. So, like, if I'm rating these out of 10, I would give Door One a 9 and Door Two a 7.5. Now getting into Door Three takes a drastically different change in tone. And I think it's the really the only one that legitimately tries to that does something unique. Not this is a flaw about any of the other doors, but it's really the only one that commits to the effort of establishing a very clear and distinct atmosphere outside of the mansion itself. This being like set during the time of the Industrial Revolution, in the time where there were like crazy where there were like crazy rich robber barons, and there were so many rich people that were just in total command of the railroad and of the railroad in all other industries and such. And I love this kind of setting, and I think the way that they executed it, along with like the style of the characters, and especially including this whole idea of um like gangs and mafias and things like that, and like family dynamics, made the atmosphere of Door 3 my favorite. Um Now immediately the main character Jacopo is instantly hateable because he is such a bitch to his wife, who is the white-haired girl in Door 3. And um and he just continues to very shittily abuse her. And despite the happy memories they seem to have, um he just gets worse and worse and worse. And, the white haired girl would go insane if not for her only friend among the maids. One of the maids is named Maria. Um, and she's also like best friends with Jacopo, so she seems to be like helping both sides. And this just gets worse and worse and worse until eventually the white-haired girl is just straight up like locked in a bed, and Jacopo doesn't even go and see her at all. Um, just being furious at the mere thought of it, and then she starts getting letters, which from the white-haired girl's perspective are supposed to be for Jacopo, but because details have been changed, then um then it's like implied to be with other men. So like as if she was cheating, which would look very bad on him because he was like a rich man that married into a famous family. So he had a lot of status at risk by this potentially coming out. Um, and then and then it really hits the fan because it's revealed that Marina the one that was supposedly like trying to help both sides is secretly the main villain of this entire story in the door. Um, and he was like childhood best friends with Jacopo, as we can see in a flashback. That's genuinely a true thing. But like that's genuinely a true thing. But Jacopo's father ends up murdering the family of Maria and becoming the dominant like family in the mafia structure. And that is Maria's essential reason for revenge. And man, if Jacopo was a real hateable bastard, he's got nothing on how hateable Maria was to be written. Because, and if anything, I think that that's actually my one kind of nitpick with Door 3, and the reason why I don't score it higher is because I feel like the characters being hateable, so hateable in fact, was just done a little too well, which is why I give it an 8.5 out of 10. But overall, I think that like Jacopo's character arc of regret and everything is really, really well done. Um, and it's a crazy plot twist which I definitely did not see coming at all. Um, now the fourth door is the best. Like, not even close. It is even a significant level better than Door 1, in my opinion. And uh it was going to take a lot for it to beat that one, but it did so in convincing fashion. So the white-haired girl in this story is this one is fascinating in terms of time period because it goes back in time as it's like chronologically the first one, whereas they had been going chronologically like this way with 1609, 1700 something, and then Door 3 was in like 1869, I believe. Whereas this one is in 1099, many, many, many centuries earlier. Um, and um, and it it starts with a girl, the white-haired girl named Giselle, as we find out, being being like chased by people, and she escapes into the mansion because she's being accused of being a witch. And so he and so she meets the only man living in the house, a man who says he is cursed to touch, and this curse being that whenever he touches anyone, they will die. Um, and but she insists on staying with him, and their dynamic is just amazing. It's a simple structure for a tragic love story, but I think it is executed so well. Mikkel is the best character in the game, and this is supposed to be like, the point where you playing as the main character are supposed to recover your memories because at this point it hasn't worked with any of the three doors beforehand. Um, so at this point, you as as you're watching this is supposed to be what this is. So they're having they Mikkel and Giselle grow closer, and they fall more and more deeply in love. Um, until eventually, of course, the tragedy has to kick in, and um, uh, they embrace, and Mikkel thinks he killed Giselle. And so he ends up killing the men who came in to kill Giselle because they wanted to kill the witch who lived in the mansion. Um, that's the whole like structure of the game, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that until now. Like the whole idea behind the mansion being cursed is that there was a witch long ago that lived in the mansion. Um, and and but then it's revealed that Gazelle didn't actually die. And then we get to what made this door absolutely fucking peak because this was the biggest payoff in the entire game, at least up to what I played. I still have like four more doors left, but um, I basically the main plot twist is that the maid is Morgana the witch that has been dwelling in the house for who knows how long. And she is able to grant wishes at great cost, and that is what she offers to Giselle. She can't bring Mikkel back to life, but she can reconstruct the memories of the person of her person to where she's reborn in every era, which is why she exists in all the Doors story. And this is where I was blindsided completely because I had when that was revealed, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's brilliant." But then I was doubly blindsided because I thought that this meant that the person that you were playing as was a he, and that he was Mikkel, who was like and the different people that the white-haired girl had fallen in love with across the various different stories, the different master characters that we had followed across doors one, two, and three. Because they were all male, I thought that they were different versions of Mikkel. And to be honest, I still don't think it's that unreasonable of an assumption to make. But this is not actually the truth because you actually play as Giselle, the white haired girl. And not being able to recover the memories, that's the exact point. The experiences of the white haired girl are the main character that you played as. Those are the memories. Those are being reincarnated in every era. And that's why um you are the master of the house all along. And I have not made any choice further than that point yet. But that was where I stopped playing, and I will definitely make more videos on this, but I had to make a video at this point in the game. And to be honest, because I've looked up a guide so I know the right choices to make, um, I know that this can be the end of the game if you pick the wrong choice. Or should I say not wrong choice, but the choice that doesn't lead to the true ending, which is what I want to do. Um, so I can experience as much of this game's story as I can. But, um, yeah, up until this point, this game is so fucking peak. And I am excited to continue playing. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this first video on the house in Fata Morgana. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you didn't get spoiled, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.